that Church of Scientology is so afraid of.
This is SPTV.
Hello, guys. Hello. Happy Sunday. Hope all of you are having a wonderful, relaxing Sunday morning. We already went and did yoga and dancing at the beach. So we had a whole lot of time to relax and get into full alignment, because today's video does come with a trigger warning as we continue to discuss the very real details of what actually means to be trafficked. And what does that mean for a child in this country, you guys, to be trafficked? So let's get right into our statement. As kids who grew up being trafficked into Scientology chains of hotels and commercial buildings, we couldn't agree more with the great need to spotlight and combat human trafficking, a crisis that persists despite being consistently discussed in the public eye. Right, guys? How many PSAs do we have to see? I mean, we already saw the one yesterday that was absolutely grotesque. How many more Congress celebrities are going to go talk to Congress? Marisol Nichols, Ashton Kutcher, and all manner of celebrities with deep ties to people that are literally running the business model of what it means to traffic kids at an industrial size scale, no less. We were raised in a culture of silence where our voices were stifled and our experience ignored, making it even more critical to shed light on this issue, as literal kids are still experiencing the same level of unthinkable depravities that are role-played inside of those hotels, with all Scientology parents becoming fully complicit in the systemic, institutionalized, including but not limited to, torture of underage kids. Trafficking and abuse is effectively all done with the blessing of our Scientology parents. Rebecca Bender's TED Talk, Trafficking in Plain Sight. And shout out to the kid of Scientology who sent us this TED Talk, you guys, that we're very excited to share with you, because it's going to provide a powerful and insightful perspective on what it often is missed when trying to identify and address this crime. As much as the Tampa Bay Times pretends that they don't have a shred of a clue of what is being done to kids inside of those hotels, they can't seem to find a line between religion and fraud and coercion. Even after all the decades that they have allowed these horrific state-sanctioned institution that has only been able to survive due to the utter recklessness and negligence from all manner of Florida officials that apparently have never heard of Ms. Bender's work and clearly don't understand what a victim of child trafficking actually means. Ms. Bender's expertise and leadership in the field have not only earned her recognition from the FBI, but have also led her to train countless professionals, including law enforcement and medical personnel in the fight against child trafficking. Today, we are left wondering how all of law enforcement of these United States of America combined is happily still sitting on the literal sidelines, not doing anything about combating any trafficking of children happening in Scientology hotels, as if they are utterly clueless of how the crime works. This TED Talk alone shreds the credibility of these lazy, at best, law enforcement officials, or at best, utterly corrupt law enforcement agencies that as of this year, 2023, can't be found to be enforcing any laws when it comes to trafficking in either California or Florida, to say the very, very, very least. As survivors ourselves, we understand the importance of identifying the victims and pursuing solutions that lead to justice. Rebecca's work aligns with our mission to advocate of the rights and safety of children who are victims of trafficking, stuck inside those Scientology hotels. We salute Ms. Bender's dedication and contribution, shining light into the actual problem this crime creates, and how it's not as mysterious as everyone is out there pitching it is. We hope to continue raising awareness and working toward a world where no child falls victim to trafficking, including but not limited to these hotels. Together we must make a difference, because in the year 2023, we have not a shred of patience for more willful blindness and stupidity, because that affects the kids currently that are being affected by the scourge of what America is all about sanctioning and fully enabling: child slavery at an industrial size scale. What in the literal hell is actually going on is what we're asking ourselves right about now. Why is everyone in Florida and California so numb and apathetic when it comes to helping kids? It's pathetic, to be honest, and we can't wait to hear y'all's feedback on what we will learn today listening to Ms. Bender. So here's the TED Talk, you guys. Let's react in real time and let's see what we can all learn today from Ms. Bender.
Jeffrey Epstein's victims went to school every day and went home to their parents every night.
So just with that one line alone to start, you guys. Jeffrey Epstein's victims went to school every day and went home every day. Where were these victims located, Jeffrey Epstein's, for the most part? The minors that we know of, the ones that were reported to the Palm Beach police. Bingo. Florida. Florida, where apparently it is very easy to circumvent the law. It is very easy to run disgusting, unthinkable, criminal operations because apparently whatever in the hell law enforcement is drinking in that state, you guys, is like literally compromising their critical thinking skills. So shout out to Florida that had literally a tiny, minute operation going on for itself in literally Palm Beach, but has a scale of operation and magnitude times probably 100, if not more, of how many underage high schoolers and under were getting trafficked by, including but not limited to Debbie Cook, who as of today, you guys, just sits in her house taking a little stroll on a monthly basis to go get herself a check. And if y'all are wondering what that check does to Debbie Cook, is it really helps her keep her mouth shut. So Miss Cook, that really did leave this whole entire disgusting hotel chain she ran from her own admissions in the public record, you guys. You can check out my video. I got a lot of questions about Debbie Cook recently. We've already reacted to Miss Cook's testimony and ABC News interviews where she willingly, publicly stated what a genius L. Ron Hubbard was and how the only problem that she ran into in those hotels is when David Miscavige put her in a trash can. And Miss Cook sits there lying through her teeth, pretending that she herself was not running a more disgusting, depraved version of the whole, given that Miss Cook literally assigned minors to her hole. And last but not least, none of these kids ever went back to their parents. None of us kids were able to go to any shred of high school. So, as if these people are not doing what Jeffrey and Ghislaine were doing on literal steroids. And as if the state of Florida, with the crooked attorney general that gave Epstein a sweetheart deal of a lifetime, as if perversion of justice is literally not what Florida is only good for. Literally in the public record, you guys. Perversion of justice. Which, not coincidentally was the title of, the reporter from the Miami Herald who did take it upon herself to do a lot of digging on what in the hell was going on with these victims that nobody was paying a shred of attention because they were just, girls that nobody ever really expected to have gotten a shred of help. So let's go back to Ms. Bender, who started this very appropriately, highlighting for us Jeffrey and Ghislaine and what in the hell they got away with in Florida.
Nobody noticed. Why? In 2006, federal investigators raided one of my traffickers' homes in suburban Texas. Months later, they surrounded one of our townhomes in Nevada, and sure that they were on their way to my house next, I was commanded to take the children and run. I can remember standing in the back.
So let's just for a second analyze one thing that Ms. Bender just said. She was commanded. Get it? Commanded. As if she was in some sort of military operation. Gee, where else can we find the word commanded? I wonder if the clowns that wear literal military uniforms, the clowns that literally call themselves lieutenant commanders, as if Debbie Cook was not a lieutenant commander, you guys. That's what she calls herself. I'm Debbie Cook. I'm a lieutenant commander. So law enforcement apparently is seen here in this TED Talk does go and raid places where they think that trafficking might be taking place. And then traffickers, to save themselves, try to shuffle like cockroaches. And as you can see, Ms. Bender was commanded to move the kids because they're going to be raided. So just keep that in mind when you think about the Fort Harrison Hotel.
Backyard facing the 6-foot brick fence and throwing my 7-year-old little girl over and dropping her. The 14-year-old boy I was with interlaced his fingers, hoisted me over, and then he ran and jumped. As we crouched down in the neighbor's backyard, I can remember vividly staring in their sliding glass door, terrified that they'd see us. Not terrified of a looming federal investigation, our homes being raided, or that child welfare may very well take our kids, but terrified that the neighbors would see me. This is the type of brainwash that traffickers employ. According to the FBI, less than 1% of sex trafficking in the United States is stranger abduction.
So let's really digest that statistic that Ms. Bender just shared, you guys. 1% stranger abducted. I was turned to Debbie Cook by my parents, handed to her on a silver platter. Here's his visa, here's his documents, here's this, here's that, here's the papers, let's really sign. Oh my God, you're going to do amazing. You're really going to help the planet. Bye-bye. Go be a cash cow for Debbie Cook, is what I was told when I was signed to this scam, disgusting hotel that literally stole all my formative years. Every last shred of formative years gone. Because apparently I did sign a very binding document for myself at age 15 in this country, United States of America, that effectively not only defrauded me, not only coerced me, not only dead bondaged me. Instantly, the first day I was already owing them money. The first day they put me on a course that cost upwards of thousands of dollars. So-called EPF course, really sign this invoice, Serge. You're 15, but every time you want to do a course that we're going to give you this course. You're going to learn so much. It's going to be so great for you. Just sign right here that this course that's going to cost you, running you up to $1,000, but don't worry. The $1,000 aren't going to come out of your account, Serge, unless you walk out of the hotel without permission. If you dare to leave the hotel, then the $1,000 are going to be very real debt that you're going to owe us. We weren't abducted by strangers, you guys. We were abducted by our parents, handed over to deranged, narcissistic AF with delusions of grandeur from hell, a la Debbie Cook, really calling herself the lieutenant commander Kid you not. That woman, as a full-blown, grown, developed woman, called herself, believed herself to be a lieutenant commander. So we would love to understand how a lieutenant commander is a religious post of any type of shred of church out there. Because it wasn't just a cutesy wootsy saying. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, lieutenant commander, just because, you know, she's so powerful and great. No. She expected to be called that, you guys. And she dressed herself in this uniform where she cosplayed being a lieutenant commander of these hotels. And apparently nobody sees a shred of problem with that at all. It couldn't be more legit. It couldn't be more legal in this country to do what Miss Cook was doing.
That means most victims are trafficked by someone that they know and trust. They get to know you, and then they use manipulation, gaslighting, coercion, and threats of harm to keep you in compliance. A study by the University of Northern Colorado shows that domestic human trafficking fits all indicators of cult-like behavior.
You guys, these studies are available on the public record. These studies have been done by serious people that can't just write something because they completed a 2-week course inside a hotel. But apparently, the ramblings of a convicted, indicted felon that did take it upon himself to write memos pitching to literally prop up these hotels where trafficking and torturing of minors was to be facilitated by every last shred willing adult protege of his. You guys, as if these adults were not paying to be like L. Ron Hubbard. Oh, where do I sign up? How much money should I pay this week to become just like L. Ron Hubbard? Because I got $1,000 here. How much can that buy me to become just like that man that you're pitching me? Because you know what? He really does sound amazing. He really does sound incredible. I cannot wait to be more like him. How else do I need to think? Let me read that in a book. Let me pay to read it and make it my own. So all of these adults that are playing dumb as we speak, that are crying crocodile tears, all manner of crocodile tears. And where is their receipts of what they were really up to inside of those hotels, you guys? Why are they playing dumb? Why? Who does that help? Does it help them or does it help the kids that, you know, never mind, they walked out of the hotel. They went like this, one step in front of the other, just as they got themselves there inside that hotel as adults. Then they go, you know what? I don't like it here anymore. Let me walk out. And as soon as they walked out, you guys, oh my God, my needle floated. Everything I did in that hotel doesn't count. Because you know what? I was really treated badly as an adult in there. And you know what? It sucks to be me. And you know what? I'm going to call out the ABC News, who will quickly pitch me as a victim. Because I will run circles around them and just give them all manner of BS stuff, stories. All they care about is a story. Pitch me a story. Oh my God, that story's going to make us a lot of money. And just like that, Debbie Cook walked out getting paid by these United States of America to have broken every last shred of rule. As if these laws were not written when Debbie Cook was a full-grown woman And the lieutenant commander that Debbie Cook was, you guys, don't get it twisted with her. Oh, but Serge, she was so abducted and so not known anything about anything. The problem with Debbie Cook, you guys, and we're going to go back to our org board. Remember when I showed you how they all have these posts and positions, where the problem with Debbie Cook is she was here at the very top of the pyramid hotel scheme. And being here, she had to talk to legal advisors all the time. Every time a felony was perpetrated inside of Debbie Cook's hotel, she went and called up all manner of people. I mean, Debbie Cook even had a cell phone, you guys. She could just dial it up anytime. Oh my God, I need to call my attorney. Guess what we just found out, Monique? Guess what we just found out? Attorneys of Florida that are on retainer getting paid how much? Thousands of dollars to really have our, client attorney relationship, you guys. I mean, as if these attorneys that did take it upon themselves to, contract themselves with, including but not limited to Debbie Cook, who didn't do a shred of due diligence, finding out, okay, well, Debbie Cook wants us to represent her. Well, who is this woman? I guess Debbie Cook just told her, no, I'm a lieutenant commander. I'm a lieutenant commander. L. Ron Hubbard told me that I was a lieutenant commander and I'm going to save the world because of all of this torture that I'm doing inside these hotels that could not be more religious. That's what I find so religious, to have my power trips unhinged, to have my power trips not have a shred of scrutiny, because you couldn't offend these people faster, you guys, if you asked them to show you inside the hotel and you didn't have the clearances to get inside. So it makes not a shred of sense, other than a bunch of people have been playing dumb for a very long time. And it's been very convenient for them to play dumb. So it goes all the way up to the Debbie Cooks of the world, and it goes all the way down to the parents that signed us up. That apparently the Clearwater Police cannot find to question or ask a shred of question, because the Clearwater Police is very, very pressed, you guys, to under no circumstances ever insult a person, because in America, we don't insult people that believe crazy, deranged memos of a convicted, indicted felon. I mean, we would really be breaking the law, is what we're being told as of this year, 2023, you guys. In America, you break the law when you insult and ask a question about why were there kids doing unthinkable posts being bought by adults that really saw not a shred of red flag. We already even saw it. Katrina Reyes tapped as an 11-year-old from Siberia, tapped to be a slave for Kelly Preston Travolta, be a slave for Marisol Nichols. Marisol Nichols, who runs a 501c, kid you not, Marisol Nichols, for a slave-free world. So there's a lot of context to the points that we're making here. And this TED Talk could not come at a better time, you guys.
Cults replace your ideologies with a new set of beliefs.
Here we go. I want you guys to listen to this specific thing, because she stopped us at cults.
Fear. Cults replace your ideologies with a new set of beliefs, and they reinforce it by having you repeat mantras and creating an us and them mentality. They use food deprivation and sleep deprivation, social ostracism, and they isolate you from outside sources of information and former associates.
So when we say these people were running the literal business model checklist, you guys, Every single last thing that Ms. Bender just pointed out here was being done at scale by Debbie Cook and her unhinged deputies. Janet Herring was one of those unhinged deputies, willing to do anything Debbie Cook told her. There was also Christine Owens, Sean Carino Smith, Yvonne Kellerhouse, Heather Hoff, Harvey Jakes, Sonia Jakes, Leslie Woodcraft, Annalisa Scapini, Christy Versenas, Christy Versenas, who was a literal minor, made to be the ethics officer of all the staff members because she really didn't know what in the hell she was doing at 15. We've got names, you guys. We got names that literally you couldn't even put on a piece of paper because it's not like Debbie Cook was running that scheme all by her very self, and she's so unhinged and so specific. Debbie Cook, like she just said here, had, her little ideologies in her head changed. She spouted every last shred of nonsense L. Ron Hubbard wrote for himself on a memo and just went with it, purporting that as long as she really applied the policies, Debbie Cook, then everything was Gucci. She had not a shred of care for actually staying within any bounds of any laws. Those hotels, Miss Cook was allowed to do whatever in the hell she personally wanted to do. No matter how unhinged, no matter how deranged, no matter how extreme, no matter how illegal, it's an everything goes environment inside of these hotels. Everything goes environment according to where the executives are approving. Don't forget, you guys, there's tons of people next to Debbie Cook and even above Debbie Cook, Angie Blankenship being one of them, another one of these trafficking women who, Angie Blankenship, just so you guys know, was even worse than Debbie Cook, as if that's even possible, because Angie Blankenship surrounded herself with mostly minors, guys. Imagine that. Imagine being the woman who, as a full-grown adult woman, you would hand select kids and be like, yep, you're going to be this for me. You're going to be the evaluation and external security, whatever, but you're 16. We can teach you. We can teach you. Y'all are very teachable. So Angie Blankenship is like Debbie Cook on crack and steroids combined. But, there's a point of no return in all of this where it doesn't even matter. They're just all so deranged, so complicit, so full knowing. It's not like these girls and women that have not a shred of a clue. Like I told you, they all had the best attorneys on speed dial. In what world is everyone giving these people full plausible deniability because, well, they're really, really like stuck in the 60s, Serge, because, they really haven't left the hotel. And, all that data anorexia, all that isolation, well, we all have to give them all the benefit of the doubt because, they just don't know. Well, you know what? That should not be an excuse. Because, I'm sure that every last person in jail right now, if we go and do a survey, you guys, hey, did you know that what you were doing was illegal? I'm sure that everybody would like to give a version of, well, actually, if you really asked me, I had no idea. Okay, well, then you know what? You didn't commit anything illegal because if you didn't know it, then it doesn't count. So come out, just leave the prison. Let's just empty all the prisons in all of America, you guys, right now. Because there's either the law where everyone cannot exist above the law, and you have all manner of consultants making sure that you're not ill-advised because, yeah, it might take you 10 years to figure out what the law says, right? So not everybody has access to the law. It's another very elite access. You have to really know the language of how contracts are written and really learn to know who has the judge and this and that. So we are literally depending on those lawyers. And we're talking about the best lawyers in America, you guys, that really want to defend the right to act and run an unhinged hotel staffed with minors. And apparently that's very defensible in America. There couldn't be more something you could defend. If not every last shred of amazing law firm in America apparently is either one, fully complicit, full knowing, has seen every shred of everything that L. Ron Hubbard wrote and thought, we got to respect him, or decided, you know, we're all in it. It's not like that law firm didn't do their due diligence. They're all relying on each other's due diligence, those law firms, you guys. That's why they're so dumb AF. Literally. They're like, well, if they approved it, well, then it must be that they did due diligence. So yeah, let's sign them on. How much are we getting every month? 60,000, and we don't ever have to even show up for anything, barely ever. Oh, good. Let's make business. Write that check. Keep us on retainer, you know, just in casey. Just in casey that Debbie Cook really wants to call and be like, guess what I just have happened? Oh, should we send him to Mexico? He's 16. Cool. Okay, great. We'll put him on a plane to Mexico tomorrow. No worries. Click. Boom. Kid disappeared overnight. Nobody knows where the hell he went, but then everybody did know. So that's the other problem with Debbie Cook. She then went and told everybody, you guys, we really did have a problem. This minor was found in this hotel giving a literal this, you guys, in one of the hotel rooms to one of the public. But you know what? We really did find out every detail of how that minor gave this thing to that public in that hotel. And we really have taken action to get everyone's ethics in, including but not limited to sending the minor back to Mexico where he came from. My cousin, you guys, that's who we're talking about here. So just so that Debbie Cook doesn't think, oh no, they're making up stuff. They really want to come after me and soil my name, as if that was even possible, Debbie Cook. Your name is smeared with feces, literally. There's not amount of bleach you could pour on your name to clean it. No amount of white glove, because that's all y'all were. Crazy, deranged, unhinged, malignant narcissists from hell who paid to become L. Ron Hubbard's proteges. And apparently becoming that protege left Miss Cook without a shred of self-awareness, even as she walked out of the hotel. The only self-awareness Miss Cook had was like, well, wait, how does this work? How do I get myself on a payment plan? Oh, you know what? I'm going to do it real quick here. Email. You know what, guys? It really, really sucks to be in Scientology, and I couldn't have been so more dedicated, and we all love it here. But, you know, David Miscavige is really making us, you know, donate too much. And L. Ron Hubbard say, no, don't donate. Go and get interrogated and go do your bridge. Really pay for that bridge. Really pay to get incriminated. Really pay to go get asked disgusting, unthinkable questions because, you know, all of the adults loved it. You guys, they got off on it. Literally is what took place.
Traffickers don't have you in physical chains because that doesn't sell. Sex sells. They have you in mental ones. For nearly 6 years, I was bought and sold between 3 different traffickers, 2 of which tattooed their names on my back. I was hospitalized for dehydration and overexhaustion. I'd been to jail multiple times. I had several attempted escapes, and by 21, I had tried to commit suicide twice. I was...
And just to highlight what Katrina Reyes was discussing with us on the podcast, you guys, as far as mandated reporters, there has not been a single doctor, there has not been a single nurse from us ending up hospitalized for all manner of horrific abuse that we were getting exposed to inside of those hotels. And there has been not one single mandated reporter that has spotted any sign of abuse. Imagine that. Imagine being the doctors in Florida that have literally been fed underage kids to treat for all manner of horrific accidents. I mean, let's just talk about Serge Oblinsky. Literally, Serge Oblinsky, you guys, we all know what happened to him. But nobody saw any type of any indicator to show. I mean, a kid could show up with no arms, and there's been not a shred of doctor in this country. Oh, we didn't see anything. I mean, he was missing arms, but they told us that he was trying to blow up the building. So, you know, he's a criminal kid. And just like that, they could turn it on the kid. And just like that, they could manipulate the easy to manipulate doctors and nurses who, you know, never mind that Scientology also vets those, you guys. They're very, very careful. Where are you going to take them? What really happened? We can't really get questions, so really figure it out. Who else can we go to? I mean, as if Lisa McPherson didn't literally lose her life because they didn't want to go to a place where they, you know, could pull the string. Scientology doesn't like strings pulled on them, you guys. As much as they are, oh, we're the best investigators here, all their investigation works for them to acquire data, for them to become full knowing, and then for them as criminal, crooked, deranged L. Ron Hubbard proteges that they are all paying to be. Really, let's all have a meeting. Let's just all share info. Okay, Durayanar, what do you got? Okay. Okay, Qualsec, what do you have? Senior CS, tell us. Okay, great. Where's the Durayanar, Senior Durayanar? Tell us that too. Where's the Haas? Okay, tell us, Haas, what do you have? Okay, so now we really do have everything here written on pieces of paper. We really do have this video recording that we have because every one of our hotels has video cameras in every last nook and cranny. So, you know, it's not like we don't literally watch the criminal acts be committed and then play dumb, that we have a technology that L. Ron Hubbard did give us that is magically going to float and everything's going to disappear. And aren't we so special inside of these hotels? Whereas Ms. Benson said, you know, she was also being sent to all of these hospitals and things and nobody was seeing anything. And how many kids in Scientology have ended up in hospitals? And where are the reports? Apparently, no one sees anything suspicious, you guys. Nobody sees anything.
Trapped in a life of chaos with no hope for escape. But nobody in my life, including myself, identified with the phrase human trafficking. Why? Because right now, sensationalism is fueling misidentification. Think about it. When you hear the phrase human trafficking, what images come to mind? A quick online search would show pictures of people duct taped, handcuffed, thrown in a basement on a dirty mattress. And we all do this. We picture this one movie that we saw this one time, the guy with a special set of skills to come find you, or you have some bait-click title on the news, or the one thing that aunt shared on Facebook. But as survivors, we grow up in the same communities as all of you.
And you guys, who is putting out propaganda such as this? Let's really bring back actress of the literal year, Marisol Nichols, Miss Nichols, who tapped Tim Ballard so that they could really go make films. And she could really have Cosmopolitan or Glamour magazine pitch her as a Hollywood vigilante that she is not. The Hollywood Reporter, Marisol Nichols, is solving trafficking of minors all by herself because they really just only get trafficked in shitty motels. Everything is over sensationalized. Everything is pitched as if you have to be seeing those conditions in real time. Now, never mind that those conditions have been present all throughout the story of what in the hell has happened in these hotels, right? We saw Astra Woodruff's story. We saw Zoe Woodruff. Literal mattresses on the floor, cockroaches running everywhere. That's where the kids were being kept. That's where Debbie Cook was literally having all the kids sleeping at the Quality Inn, the most run-down motel that they could find to buy for the kids. The most disgusting motel is where Miss Cook and the rest of her co-conspirators locked up all the kids they were recruiting weekly. I mean, was Ghislaine Maxwell recruiting weekly, you guys? Because I tell you, over here it was like, oh, we just got 10 recruits this week. Oh, you guys, every week they would announce the statistics. Hip, hip, hooray. Let's all really, sing praise because we just got 20 this week. Isn't that great, guys? We have 20 more people to help us. We're really going to get going and clear the planet. Never mind that we were just being turned into cash cows. That's all that Debbie Cook wanted us for. Make me money. Because the more money Debbie Cook would make, the more accolades she would get from Dave. And Debbie Cook loved Dave until the day she was put inside a trash can. Then she was like, oh no, you suck. Oh no, you're so mean. Oh no, I don't deserve this. I deserve better. Debbie Cook was used to having kid slaves for herself, pamper her, cradle and canoodle her. Oh, do you need a massage, sir? Are you really tense? Oh, let me just call up your personal masseurs, Ilona Bauer, that will be here in 10 seconds. Ilona, get here. Debbie Cook is really stressed. Come here right now, Ilona. I don't want to hear anything else. Oh, no, yeah, she's coming, Debbie Cook. Don't worry. Don't worry. She's about to just show up. So just relax, sir. Relax. Let's get you some special food. What would you like? What would you like? Oh, yeah, what would you like? Valerie Haney, Debbie Cook is not feeling well, and you need to get her the best food. What do you mean you don't have that? Well, go get it. Make it go right. Don't put problems on our lines. Get the most amazing food for Debbie Cook to eat, or otherwise we will send you to ethics. Oh, Debbie Cook, yeah, she's coming. Oh, the food's coming. Don't you worry about it, sir. And yeah, oh, your masseuse just showed up. Oh, here. Okay. Yeah, Ilona. Get her de-stressed. She's very, very, she's had a lot of production she's been doing, Debbie Cook. That's what they would say. Oh my gosh, she's so stressed because she's got so much on her plate. And just like that, Debbie Cook would wah, 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 you guys, full-grown woman that she was. Be like, oh my God, I have so much stress on my lines, you guys. I'm so overwhelmed. It's so hard to be me. I mean, literally, that's what she would say. Like, she got onto these like staff meeting rants. Oh, you guys, it's so hard to be me. I'm the captain. Everything's on my shoulders. The whole world's gonna, make it or not because of what we do here. So it's kind of crazy how much Debbie Cook really took herself seriously, you guys. I think that's incredible.
So we too are picturing those same sensational images, those same myths. And when our situation doesn't look like that, we keep thinking, well, I must not be being trafficked because I wasn't kidnapped, I'm not duct taped, I'm not locked in the basement. Right now, each and every one of us could have a trafficked victim in our very neighborhoods. Their kids could be going to school with ours. They could be standing next to us in the grocery store line, and no one is noticing. We're all.
And yeah, you guys, I mean, we were running around we were going to the movies once in a blue moon, being taken there on buses because we really did well. And nobody in those movie theaters thought, oh my God, this bunch of kids here, the whole movie theater's filled on Friday nights, always at the same time. So, we really thought ourselves to be better than the people that were there at the movie theater when we arrived. They were not part of our special team. Get it? We were so special to be glorified, abused child slaves for these people. And nobody in Clearwater has seen any shred of any literal red flag. It's just very religious what I see here. Very religious. Oh my God, this is just the definition of religion. They just literally personified religion. So it all looks so normal. And for us, never mind that we were locked up in basements, you guys. But we were told that we were doing an ethic cycle locked up in a basement. Like when I left, finally, was locked up in a basement with Alberto Ongaña, this deranged, disgusting, pervert man who would lock us up. Anyone who wanted to leave, security checker, Alberto Ongaña is going to have his way with you. And he got the post because he proved himself to be disgusting, you guys. He was a sadist. He was literally depraved AF. I mean, Laura was just telling me about what happened with her, and Katrina too. And these girls were literally young, were not auditors themselves. So they don't even, I could gaslight and manipulate him because at least I was an auditor. So I knew what they wanted to hear and how they were thinking and how they were talking about me behind closed doors because I was exposed to that my entire formative years. But what about Laura? What about Katrina? Did they have a shred of a clue what was happening? No. Nothing made any sense to these girls, you guys. Nothing. They just knew that when that man locked them up inside that basement, literal basement underneath the garage of the Fort Harrison, in a room literally this big, like with a tiny table and just cramped up like this with cameras, because you knew RTC was watching, because you really do want to leave. So RTC really wants to find out what's coming up for you. So they're all involved. They're all up to their ears in criminal activity, you guys. But apparently, no. Apparently, they're not. Apparently, they are very religious. Apparently, this is exactly the definition of religion in America.
All looking for the 1% stranger abduction. And meanwhile, 99% of victims like Epstein's, like myself, and many, many others are hidden in plain sight right under our noses. So how do you spot exploitation? Well, I'll tell you, proximity. The same way you might spot domestic violence or spot alcoholism. Yes, all of these have red flags and warning signs, but it ultimately takes being in close proximity with people to begin to notice those small, subtle clues. Close your eyes and imagine the most vulnerable needs in your community. People living in homelessness, in poverty, single moms, marginalized youth, LGBTQ, undocumented persons. If you can picture the needs in your community, traffickers can too. Traffickers are targeting vulnerable populations with the intent to exploit their needs. They date them, groom them, and eventually turn them out. I know firsthand.
And we know firsthand too, you guys, because what these groomers like Debbie Cook would do is literally have you fill a form called life history. Really tell us your life history. They really pitch it as, oh, we are so exclusive and so ethical in this hotel that we really vet everyone that's coming. Okay, so that's the only thing that was used to purport that everyone that signs for the Sea Org is so qualified, because we really did check their background. Never mind, you guys, that the background including but was not limited to admissions of their sexual perversions, admissions to crimes they might have committed already. And all of that was taken into account to see, okay, well, where should we post you, here or there or here or that or here or that? So the qualifications was nothing but an exploitation tool where these people took it so far, and it's no wonder that no one catches them, right? Because they do have systems in place to vet and abduct. They find out everything about the minor. The one time any minor says, because they even asked this, do you have any of your family working at the FBI, at the NSA, at the CIA, at the police department anywhere? Does anyone care for you? Well, guess what, you guys? Guess what happens if you do have some close family tie in any 3-letter agency in the United States? You no longer qualify. Your qualifications are, sorry, but you don't qualify, but just let's figure out where we can still put you to do more courses and exploit you differently, right? Differently. Like now you're just going to pay for courses and you're just going to whatever. But they only wanted kids that would have not one single member of their entire family tree. And they ask you, who's your aunt, who's your uncle, who's your cousin? List every single one, how old they are, where do they work, what do they do, how much do you talk to them, when do you see them, when do you not see them? I mean, they take it to the extreme of extremes. There's no boundaries in those questionnaires. HIPAA laws, when did you get sick? What medication were you on? Tell us your entire medical history. Write it all down. Put it here. All manner of randoms are just grabbing the information and asking themselves questions. And is this kid really going to qualify? Are they going to get approved to be really that post? Because look, he does have a history here where he did take some medication. Oh, what's the medication? Why did you take that medication? Who told you to take that? I mean, these people had no medical background whatsoever, but the HIPAA laws apparently also are worthless and useless inside those hotels, because your medical history could not more belong to them if they literally were owning you and making you fill out your entire medical history on paper. And if you missed anything, writing it down, don't worry about it. They're going to do a questionnaire on the meter machine, life history sec check. In your life history, did you tell an untruth? In your life history, did you say something only to impress us? In your life history, have you told part of something but not the rest? Did you fail to answer any question fully in your life history? That was another, could run you up 20, 30, 40, 50 hours of more questions. You're getting qualified. We're really checking your qualifications. We're really making sure that we can keep you inside of these hotels for ourselves, having our way with you.
If you want to fight human trafficking, you must create systems to help combat vulnerabilities. We have to start sharing facts and statistics from experts, not just influencers. And we have to look at our circles of influence.
I mean, as this wouldn't be more evident right now. Not from influencers, Marisol Nichols. Not from you, who supposedly works at Hollywood. Not from you, Ashton and Mila Kunis Kuchers. We really do know what in the hell we're talking about. Congress, give us the millions. We really do. We learned that script that they told us to read to Congress, and the people at Congress could not be more easy to gaslight and manipulate. As if Congress has not seen actual whistleblowers, right, guys? Because we're going to be doing some more videos on what a real whistleblower sounds like and looks like, and the type of questions and points they make, which are far from the narrative of the influencers who cannot stop telling us how the trafficking only happens in seedy motels where they are there to stop it. I mean, imagine that. The influencers are really going to come to the rescue. The influencers, the narcissistic AF, the malignant narcissists from hell influencers that they are, that Hollywood can't stop telling them how special they are because they really do pull in the money because the press has been pitching them ad nauseum. Get it? That's how the whole cult works. The press and the influencers rub each other's backs to be making money of each other. The American press, oh yeah, we really are very independent. Nobody tells us what to write. Such BS, you guys. Nobody tells us what to write. Are you kidding me? Hollywood Reporter. Are you MF kidding us? Literally. Like journalistic licenses, you guys, literally, apparently mean nothing, because as much as they purport, oh, Serge, we can't really write the story of Scientology trafficking kids because it's so hard to do our job, and we really do have to do a really in-depth investigation, and we can't really take your allegations. No one's asking anybody to take our allegations, you guys, as if they cannot take it upon themselves to go inside the hotels, get a little creative. If they give a shred of an F, they would actually invest, right? Have skin in the game is what it's called. We really do care about this issue, so we really are going to spend this much money to really find out if all of our Hollywood people that we keep pitching as this amazing, you know, Hollywood vigilantes and all, could not actually be that we're actually laundering the image of so-called influencers that are going to Congress and securing for themselves all manner of payments, multi-million-dollar payments for themselves. So yet again, nothing makes a shred of sense, you guys. Literally nothing, because the influencers right about now make no sense. And the amount of money they're being paid to do nothing, to influence in the wrong direction. Oh yeah, just trafficking only happens like this. Trafficking only happens like that. Sensationalizing everything for themselves to popularize themselves because they know how hurtful it is to hear of these horrendous stories. There's not one mother out there in America that wants to hear that this is happening. If you have a shred of humanity inside your brain, you cannot stand it, right? Well, now that they got your attention, now they're going to go your money. Because that's all this is. It's a cash grab. It's a grift. We got y'all's attention. We got so many followers. Look at all these followers that really bought our pitch. Yay. Let's really solve this issue that we really do care about because, you know, we have been so privileged. We have not experienced a shred of problem in our lives like Mila and Ashton tell us. I mean, they didn't get essayed. Never happened to them. What in the hell are these girls complaining? They should have been so lucky they got essayed by our best amazing friend that really did put the moral compass in our heads. That's what we have in this country, you guys. As of this year, 2023, that's literally the state of the union.
Where we work, our family, friends, and where we volunteer. But if someone you know is being exploited, there are two main things you can remember that are specific to the crime of human trafficking: abuse and money. Human trafficking includes money or monetary possessions that you may wonder how the person in your close circle can afford. New clothes, cars, jewelry, handbags, phones. They'll make frequent trips out of town, and they'll have what appears possibly online as a lavish lifestyle. In conversation, they'll become more tense, more on edge, and they'll have a heightened emotional response to things. You may even start.
I mean, it's not like she's literally describing the Kuchers, right? Like the minute they had to defend their actions, they were tense AF. They were somber AF. And they couldn't have been literally more found out if they didn't tell on their literal selves, you guys. And never mind that, you know, Mila also comes as an example of what actual Hollywood grooming and trafficking looks like. We already know Miss Kunis was recruited at the age of 14, all because she lied, right? Because the 14-year-old that really wanted to go be an actress to make her parents proud because they were so poor. And you know, Hollywood just, oh, you're so special. You're exactly what we were looking for. Isn't that amazing? And we're going to continue to pull the string because, you know, Mila's all over the public record running her mouth, you guys, and really actually establishing the facts of how she was trafficked, even though, you know, she doesn't see it like that. She sees herself as a very special actress that really knew a lot and that, you know, she's going to make a ton of money. But who's making money behind Mila's back? Who tapped a minor to sit on Ashton's lap? We just posted a short of that, you guys, because again, it's that these receipts have to be made. Evidence has to be provided. We can't just run our mouth and be like, oh yeah, no. Ashton had Mila on his literal lap, making all manner of unthinkable comments, he, ha, 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 and literally drive humping her. But you know, Ashton is truly where America goes to get advice on the trafficking of kids. Imagine that, you guys. I mean, imagine that level of corruption and stupidity being smeared in our face as every last three-letter agency tell us is so hard to figure out anything. Nothing can be done about it.
Seeing them less. They'll become more isolated, more secretive. They won't be around as much. They'll have a complete obedience to their new partner, and maybe even a tattoo with that person's initials or name. And of course, any signs of physical abuse. So you want to fight human trafficking? Learn to create solutions to the needs in your community. Share facts, not conspiracy theories. And if you are in close proximity with someone, please remember those two clues: abuse and money. This is the way to identify and fight human trafficking.
So we had abuse and money inside of those hotels, you guys. And we were literally sold as cash cows for these executives who were not pressed to make any money for themselves, you guys, which is like just a testament of their level of stupidity and depravity. Like they were so happy to just have the chance to have a place where all their wildest, craziest, deranged ideas could come true without a shred of intervention from anyone on the outside telling them anything they were doing was wrong. And just like that, you know, just we're having an amazing hotel experience. We really want to help a lot of kids. So let's see if you guys have any questions here. Hello, Joe. Hello, Goldie. Hi, Carrie. Thank you so much. Hi, Tom. Mad at the bad stuff. What the money looking better? Exactly. It's all about money, money, and make more money, and nothing can be figured out, you guys, because apparently the buck stops at money. And Malinas, people won't let their children go around the block, but inside the block, the danger lurks. Well, and especially in every last shred of corner in those hotels, you guys, because again, what type of parent leaves their kids with a bunch of adults that have already decided for themselves that kids are not kids and they're just adults in small bodies? So not only are these adults like gonna pretend that anything that they do to the kid is completely okay, but they just doing it to another adult. So what is the big deal? I mean, and then you wonder why, Carol Masterson, when she saw Mila Kunis arrive on the set of the 70s show, being that she was the momager of Danny, saw everything about the casting. Believe you me, these managers highly involved with who's getting what, who's getting paid what, all of that. So it was widely known that there was a minor in the set, and everybody just acted like, well, but we're just wanting to create a lot of art in here. So it's kind of insane. Malanis, I like it when Sergio mentions names of the kids. It's still hard to understand who, when, why, where. We know where in the cult. Yes, you guys. We have the names of the kids. They're contacting us, and we just did our first interview with Katrina. But we are getting more and more kids lining themselves up because they're sick of this abuse happening to other kids. That's honestly the main concern that is always shared. The fact that they're still doing it to other kids. If we knew that they had canceled the literal inclusion of anyone 21 and under for this stuff, you guys, believe you me, there would be no conversation to have with y'all. There would be nothing to discuss. I would have nothing to talk about. I could care not a shred about whether adults want to do the Scientology on themselves and L. Ron Hubbard and he's this and he's that. Is it a 21 and over? It's like it's a triple X rated hotel. If you want to be there, I'm not going to convince you not to go. Why in the hell would I even care? You're 21 and up. Go get a beer. Go get some alcohol. Go buy some cigarettes. Do whatever in the hell 21 and over thing you want to do with your life. But these people were not about 21 and up. These people were about 21 and down. And that's the problem. It's that inversion in the number. Because the 21 and down are being used as slaves for the 21 and ups. And it's unthinkable and it's disgusting. And, it's still a very niche, small, tiny little bit of conversation that we're just literally being allowed to have for the first time in the 73 years that this operation has been running rampant in the United States, being pitched nonstop as a religion of all things. Convicted, indicted, felon, author, L. Ron Hubbard, founder, New York Times bestseller. I mean, even that whole sentence does not make any sense, you guys. How is a convicted, indicted felon a 19 times New York Times bestseller? And what? The New York Times doesn't care if they give somebody 19 times, if they platform a man who was pitching for adults to really blame a 7-year-old girl. Let's not forget that little line in the very first book that man wrote, already the red flag that everyone just went over their head. Oh yeah, well, he's pitching that a 7-year-old girl should have no problem getting passionately kissed. And that, if that does happen from a disgusting grown man that wants to do that, we really should blame it on the girl. Question, sir. Did you ever see a doctor, teacher, nurse, police while you were a slave in the hotel? I did see doctors, okay? But very similar to what was just shared on this TED Talk, because your mindset is so warped that I couldn't tell them that I was being there was, I showed up to my orthodontist, for example, when I was in Debbie Cook's hole because I had braces from Mexico. So they just left I started my braces in Mexico, and then we came to Florida, and then they just left the braces on me for years and years and years. I just had braces that were breaking, and they were all just like completely effed up. So when I did go to the orthodontist and the dentist, they saw me and they did ask me, like, what the hell's going on? Like, why is your mouth in this? Why is everything so awry? And I was just like, oh, yeah, I just haven't had time to come to the dentist. I mean, what else was I supposed to do? Was I supposed to say, oh, yeah, I'm at the hacienda and a self-admitted pedo is who I'm told that I really need to, rehabilitate, you guys. So the problem of these kids, and that's why they need advocates such as all of y'all, because again, it's like these kids cannot fend for themselves. That's why we're pissed AF. How in the hell are these kids ever gonna be advocated for when their parents are in on it, the executives at the hotel are in on it, the Clearwater Police is in on it, the Tampa Bay Times is in on it, the people at the airport that see them come in with visas and all manner of questionable stuff are so in on all of it, right? So unless we start making the point that maybe it's not us who are wrong, maybe the majority of people that have really bought the pitch that L. Ron Hubbard is whatever in the hell they want to say about that man. Tim, while the kids tell stories about fighting over snacks and stealing food to survive. Exactly, Tim. I mean, as if literal food, they wouldn't want to give us food. They wouldn't want to give us snack. Jenna Miscavige telling us about how, she was getting in trouble for having snacks. Liz Ferris told you are a size 8, go to a size 2. You won't eat until you get to that size because you're in the president's office and you are not a size 2. So it's really unthinkable, you guys. Hi, Amy. Hi, Bruce. Hi. Mary. Oh, Mary. Hi, Mary. Do you know any Scientologists why Scientologists don't go to the doctor? Oh, and you just answered that because they're mandated reporters. Well, yeah, Mary, but even, I mean, they always don't want you to go to a doctor, right? But they also, sometimes there is just no other way, right? Their so-called PTS handlings, their only reason anyone gets sick. So first they try to do all these things to keep you from the doctor. I mean, we discussed even my grandma, right, guys? Like, she was a supervisor. She had a lump in her breast. She was told she was a PTS. She was not allowed to go to the doc. Go get your PTS handling. We have something very important here, a technology that's gonna literally dissolve your lump. By the time you find who your suppressive is and you really find out this technology, then you're gonna be fine. Never mind that by the time she did end up seeing a doctor, she was stage 4. And again, it's like, my grandma didn't say, well, they wouldn't let me go to the doctor, right? Because again, Debbie Cook made her feel like she was the reason. She was some sort of degraded person that manifested cancer on herself, that she had some sort of sexual perversion is what my grandmother was told when she got breast cancer, you guys. I remember my dad was like, oh yeah, look, we found the reference right here. And they would be like reading it. It was all this stupid stuff from L. Ron Hubbard. Look what L. Ron Hubbard wrote here. All cancer comes from sexual perverts. But, if you really do a lot of technology from L. Ron Hubbard, then, that can be addressed. I mean, it couldn't have been more ridiculous, you guys. So thank you, Mary, for your question. Oh, and here's another good point from Mary. Such a good point, sir. They need to give each other another reason to exist, the reporters and the celebrities. Yeah. They're feeding off of each other, you guys. They are the cancer. They are the ones that have completely misaligned incentives. Because as much as the celebrities, and we're going to do a reaction video to Ashton Kutcher, who we're still finding like nauseating. You know, he goes and complains, oh my God, the paparazzi, oh my God, the press. Never mind that his popularity is what he leveraged to open every last shred of door that man had. Right? So they really want to put themselves as like, yo, we hate the media. Why does everyone care about our lives? We're just doing a job. I mean, what's the big deal? Why is everyone really wanting to find out why I'm marrying Demi Moore? Like, seriously, what in the literal way? Nothing can make sense, thus making it make sense somewhat. Thank you, Joseph. That's right. Nothing making sense. But I mean, at least now we understand why it's not making sense, right, guys? Like, we're seeing that we have a woman that survived this very much like so many of us have. And, you know, unfortunately, what we're finding, guys, is that, you know, it takes having gone through the experience yourself to really be able to advocate for it. Because, again, if we had reporters that would actually go inside the hotels and see what's going on, they could be those heroes, right? They could be like, I really did find out. Look what I have, all these receipts and all this stuff that I witnessed. Let me write it down. But, you know, in 73 years, all reporters are so scared of L. Ron Hubbard. Insulting L. Ron Hubbard in any way is something that no reporter in the entire United States wants to do. Because, you know, why would they want to insult an American-bred God? I mean, the blasphemy of that. The literal blasphemy of that. Oh my God, you guys, you're so funny. I see some funny things you're saying. Case in the house. The fact that Scientology covers up all abuses makes the victims think they are the only one. That's right, guys. And the fact that they kept everything so compartmentalized, because as much as everyone there was supposed to share everything about everybody, they would make it a crime for you to, you know, talk about anything personal. They say, oh, don't talk about your case. Going back to how they're practicing law without a license. They're always building a case with you. Oh, we're just building your case, another session, and you'll really figure it out. But, you know, meanwhile, they're just exploiting everything that really comes out. Mary, what kind of adult participates in this nonsense with children? I wouldn't want to be alone with a minor in the first place. Weird AF. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. I mean, see you guys in 2 lines. You guys make more sense than all the combined headlines of all the American press for the last 73 years. Isn't that funny? Literally in 2 lines. Like, what type of adult really wants to be with a minor that's of no relation, has, like, you know, like we said, you guys, like the video that we did, like, people leave people with Scientology parents leave you with randoms, like all manner of randoms. Oh yeah, he's a this, he's a that. They pitch you. Oh, he's very highly trained, really knows what in the hell he's doing. And meanwhile, I mean, from having had a front row seat and knowing so many of these so-called auditors, you guys, they were nobodies, and they were just randoms, and they were dangerous, and they were unhinged. And, you know, as much as they self-police, that's sort of like the facade, right? The whole time they're there, policing the policy. Did you apply that? Did you apply this? Did you really enforce this? Did you really enforce that? So there's this whole air that everything is being done standardly, and that we all are really pressed to follow what the rhetoric says. So, Tim, everywhere you look in Scientology is always worse than you think, like evil octopus, every tentacle in another type of crime, abuse, and scam. Absolutely. I mean, the entire business model is a full-blown scam, you guys. But apparently only us here are the ones that realize it. And everyone else that has had, you know, much more front row seat testimony from people that have left and given them receipts. I mean, I'm going to do another reaction video to the person that was just interviewed by Leah and Mike, right, guys? The woman that just recently left, that told us all about how she was being tapped to float the needle of a self-admitted, you know exactly what in the hell we mean. So as much as we've been told ad nauseum that, oh my God, well, you know, law enforcement really wants to help a lot, but you know, since there's no one that's left recently, nothing can be done. So again, that's just been an excuse for them to not do their jobs. It's been an excuse for them to gaslight themselves into pretending that, you know, their job is just so hard to be an FBI agent helping kids. It's just so hard. So much heavy lifting. You have no idea the type of evidence we have to present to judges that will ever care about helping any child in Florida, because everything is so legal. So just to wrap up with that, you guys, what have we learned today? That all of this trafficking is being sanctioned by California and by Florida. It's a full-blown bipartisan issue of the literal year. That influencers have been tapped by, including but not limited to, Congress to muddy the waters, to literally pitch all manner of sensationalistic BS so that they can actually purport that they really do care about this issue, while at the same time not giving a shred of an F, because the issues of the trafficking that they are actually getting the money from aren't getting called out. That they have law agencies that couldn't be more trained, that couldn't be more educated. Here the whole time, you guys, I was thinking, you know what's really going to make a difference in America? The day that, you know, the poor people at the police and law enforcement and all three-letter agencies figure out how trafficking works, because, you know, they just don't know. They just have no clue, because, you know, who would ever lay eyes inside the hotel to be able to see what we saw that we cannot unsee? Right, guys? Is like, I was like, no, it's going to be really hard. Never mind that the blueprint for the business model does not change, you guys. It's only the little like marketing schemes on the door. Oh, this is Scientology. Oh, this is Epstein massages. Epstein and Ghislaine also gathering literal black mail on their celebrity circles, catching those people in compromising situations. Well, Scientology runs circles around Ghislaine and Jeffrey. Literal circles, probably a trillion, zillion circles like that, you guys, because they were pathetic dilettantes that were not careful. Scientology was careful AF. And they've been floating their scam because they're counting on not having a shred of backbone anywhere in the United States to call it out. And they've spent tons of millions of dollars to make sure that that is the case today. So there's a ton of more information that we're going to be discussing about the specific subject, because you know what? It's time to stop pretending that this is so complicated and a million shades of gray. Hardly anything in this world does not have a million shades of gray, you guys, right? Like so many things can be, oh my God, it could be like this. Oh my God, it could be like that. abusing kids is one of those things that if you don't have that as common sense, then we cannot help you. Every human should have installed that in their head. And if they don't see it, if they want to pretend that that's a very complicated thing that can't really get into an agreement about what it is and what it isn't, well, you know what? The ones of us who have lived to tell can make it so easy for all of those who are running around confused, still not knowing what in the literal living hell is going on. Okay, you guys. Well, I look forward to our next live where we're going to be discussing more weeds of what's not being discussed about the crime perpetrated against all minors inside of those hotels, aided and abetted by their parents, endorsed and executed by the executives in those hotels, including but not limited to Debbie Cook, who, you know, we would love to hear that she's cooperating with the feds and she's cutting the deal of an actual lifetime for herself, you know, giving her true testimony, having to really discuss every last felony she committed in those hotels. That's the only way she's ever going to get a deal. Debbie Cook by the feds, you guys. She has to go there and sing her lungs out. Every kid she transferred, who was involved, who brought him, what were the false promises, how many women were forced to, you know what, when they became pregnant. I mean, there's so many things that that woman has to sing about. And her silence could not be more deafening today. But she won't be playing dumb for the rest of her life. That we can guarantee you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all extremely soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.